if Vince McMahon were to ever buy back his company and come back, he would be coming back with Shane under his arm. And Vince would know, I'm 80-something years old. I don't have much time. F my son-in-law and my daughter for what they did for me. It is now time for me to repay back my son.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
I'm holding it.
Bombshell, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Wrestling Outlaws. I am Dr. Chris Featherstone, and I am here with my buddies. We were just speaking at SNL, another green room conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, we're going to be buddies. We're going to be pals. When he was Matt Foley, motivational speaker. And he was amazing. And so
I know you love Farley, bro. To me, like one of the best Farley things, man, and you've seen it a million times, is when he interviewed Paul McCartney.
you remember?
That was cool.
I'm sorry, man. That was classic, bro.
And the whole point of when he would do the Chris Farley show, he would ask questions that were closed-ended. That was his thing. Yeah. And so like McCartney and everybody else, they would just answer the question close-ended. Yeah. And he'd be like, God,
yeah.
My uncle and cousins went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame today here in Cleveland, and they have an SNL.
Do they? Wow, nice.
And I was like, do they have the cowbell in there? Yep. Like, do they got the Dick in the Box in there? Yep. They had Opera Man's costume. I was like,
that's awesome.
Man, bye-bye.
Yeah, I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before they had that exhibit. I loved it there. I thought that place was great, man.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. I wonder if they got the lunch lady. Slob. Yes, indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go from we go from old school SNL, which I can do a podcast about. I love talking old school SNL, to a headline that just came out that I'm involved in as well as Jonathan Coachman regarding reporting, getting information, and I received a text message early in the morning around 11. A little bit before 11:30, and not knowing anything about Jonathan Coachman reporting it, someone sent me a text and wanted me to get out there, and then all of a sudden I found out, and I found out also through a screenshot that Jonathan Coachman said something about be careful because he's been getting ripped. So he getting heat about reporting it, and guess what? He was right because it got a ton of heat as far as reporting. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. We get information and we get it out there. So what is the information? The information is Vince McMahon is interested in buying back WWE. Now, there's a big difference between Vince McMahon is in the process of buying back WWE or in talks of buying back WWE. There is interest of buying WWE, and it's been reported with independent reports. And hey, Vince Russo, you would know the mind of Vince McMahon when it comes to seeing what's going on now and possibly wanting to purchase it back when it's open to potentially be purchased again. And what do you think, man?
Chris, I'm going to go one step further because this is what I was talking about with Coach, okay? Because first of all, you got to understand this is professional wrestling, okay? Anything can happen in professional wrestling. If you think anything is out of the question, you don't know professional wrestling.
You ain't thinking. You ain't thinking.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces here, Chris. And when you put these pieces together, my theory and what I told Coach was, is it possible that Ari Emanuel and TKO were just a placeholder to take over the company and run the company until all of this cleared? And then Vince would come back, the company would be given back to him, and it would be business as usual. Because under this, bro, we know a couple of things. Under the circumstances, no way, no how could Vince have continued to run the company. Absolutely not. And it would have killed the WWE with all this negative stuff. We also know Vince and Ari Emanuel go back 25 years and they are friends. We also know in an interview when Vince was asked flat out, why did you sell the company? Vince's answer was, because it was time. What does that even mean? Everybody knew Vince was going to die in his office. Vince was never going to sell the company. Vince sold this company because he had to. So is it possible he sold it to a friend and he said to Ari, brother, make as much money as you possibly can until all this cleared, and then I'm going to take it over? Because now, Chris, on top of that, you got a lawsuit from some of the shareholders who are saying, wait a minute, bro, Vince had higher offers. There were higher offers of other people to buy the company, and he turned it down. And they want Vince to hand over personal documents, and Vince is refusing to handle anything over. So that right there to me sounds like, whatever it was, it sounds like there was some kind of shenanigans going on under the table. So is it far-fetched that he made an arrangement with a friend of 25 years to run this company until his name was cleared? Is that crazy thinking? I don't think it is at all, bro.
No. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a little bit of the text message I received. It said that it all depends on the civil case with Grant. He does not want to hurt his baby. WWE and privately, he's been consulting with ideas and advice. And so that's a little bit of the detail that I got from. It's a pretty lengthy text message that I got as far as the Vince wanting WWE. So he said another part of the text that I got was he was upset about Laurinaitis's betrayal. And as far as the civil case and the confidential agreement that was violated. So, and there's a lot more, but at the same time, it says Vince has a lot of powerful people on his side. This is from someone who has a direct relationship with Vince McMahon. So at the end of the day, this isn't something that is just kind of hearsay. This is something that's starting to brew up and be pretty serious as far as Vince wanting it back. Now, whether he buys it back or not, that to me, that's beside the issue. What the biggest thing is that he's seeing, to your point, Vince, whatever the reason why, I don't know that. We don't know that. But what we do see is I don't think it's far-fetched that, to your point, hey, guess what? Just kind of loan this out real quick, clear my name up, give it time to breathe. And now, I've even talked to you about this before. We're seeing Triple H, who was the baby face of it all, for a while when Vince McMahon had a lot of heat and dirt on at once. And then the whole WrestleMania opener, not mentioning his name and things like that, that made him look like a baby face for a while. And now with the product being the way that it is, he's starting to become more of the heel. And that's a perfect time for Vince McMahon to just slide in and save the day, man.
Chris, remember, I'm sure you and EC3 remember this well. Probably one of the top 3 moments in the history of professional wrestling. Remember when Hulk Hogan came out as the third man of the NWO? Yeah. Bro, what would have happened if you would have been sitting there next to me watching that, and I would have turned to you and said, "Hey, Chris, guess what? In 5 years, Vince McMahon's going to be buying WCW." What would you have said to me, Chris? That's what I'm talking about, bro. Unless you know Vince McMahon, you don't have a freaking clue. There's nothing you can put past this guy, bro. And look at the height WCW was at, bro. Less than 5 years later, Vince owned that company, and you're gonna tell me so this is an impossibility? Come on, man.
Was WCW flat out winning back before the NWO, or was it kind of still even?
Nah, it was kind of even, and that blew it out of the water. Yeah.
Yep. So, what's your take on all this, man? I know that you didn't have the fondest relationship with
I love him. He's the best.
Say that in a very zany. I love him. He's the best.
I love him. He's great. He's a genius. He's not like. To be fair, I should have sent you this text message, Dr. Chris. I'm actually in talks with buying SpaceX. So,
very nice.
Yeah, you know,
Good
see what
choice.
happens. This is crazy talk. So I didn't really get the gravitas of it until you guys started talking about it. I was just like, dude, wrestling's crazy. And then I was kind of trying to think of like a film parallel, like with a big turn at the end is like the guy everyone thought was out comes back but made some shrewd business, like Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins. Well, I bought all the shares, you know, like just I couldn't find the right parlay. And so I'm just going to say, anything can happen.
No.
And I wonder, because I don't have a lot of insight, but I'm wondering, to your opinions, is it a good thing for wrestling or is it going to take a step back? I mean, what do you guys think? Is it good creatively? Like, I wonder, what if? So, good thing or bad thing?
I would say that from a casual perspective, it's a good thing. From a hardcore perspective, it's probably going to be viewed as a bad thing. And I think basically, where do you want your business to go? I don't think business would be lost if Vince came back. Maybe it may be a dip, but because wrestling fans are so addicted, they're going to come back to the product. You know what I mean? So that's going to happen.
Does TKO offer elements of like mainstream appeal that Vince himself couldn't because he always kind of tried to be mainstream, but it never fully clicked? And with TKO and the UFC and all that star power and, you know, assets attached to it, you know, does that leave wrestling to be going more mainstream, or would it be kind of we're at the shelf life of it?
Well, let me ask you this, EC3, with that. I think that's a fair point. But yes, you get TKO with the pub, but here's the thing. How has TKO really helped the business as far as them putting some sweat equity in? You know what I mean? Like, how have they helped as far as publicity? What TKO was getting credit for now is hiking up the ticket prices. You know what I mean? So that's really what only they're getting credit for. So how is it really helping WWE as a whole as far as their contribution is? I
didn't know if it kind of was a helpful thing for Netflix and maybe the gravitas of that deal when it first came about. And then I wonder, where does Dwayne fit in to this?
Well, I'll tell you what else, though. I'll tell you where else does somebody else fit in. Because, listen, there is no question. When Triple H is giving his 5-hour Hall of Fame speech at 3 a.m. and he says, the relationship with Vince is very complicated. No, bro, it ain't complicated at all. The relationship with Vince, you and your wife, is severed. Okay, period, end of story. Vince is not talking to that side. Now, I will say this, Chris. I think this would be the major change, without a shadow of a doubt. Bro, they are showing us week in, week out how much Vince McMahon is missed. Because I am telling you, the people at the top think they know what they're doing. They don't have a clue. Triple H does not have a clue. Guys like Michael Cole don't have a clue. Every single week they're showing us how badly they need the leadership of Vince McMahon. Bro, here's where I think the difference would be. Because of the way everything went down, if Vince McMahon were to ever buy back his company and come back, he would be coming back with Shane under his arm. And Vince would know, I'm 80-something years old. I don't have much time. F my son-in-law and my daughter for what they did for me. It is now time for me to repay back my son. And Shane McMahon would become the new Vince McMahon. And I definitely believe that would happen. And that would be the best thing for the wrestling business as we knew it, not as it's known today.
There you go. EC3, got anything on that?
I think from being one of the boys and being around Shane is like, as an heir apparent, I could see him being a very quantifiable leader. So, and not to discredit like Triple H's impact and things like that. I don't know who's going to be in charge, so I'm just putting everybody over, by the way. But, you know, Vince mentioned like he isn't handling it well or the creative isn't great, which surprises me just because of working with him in NXT. So maybe there's just so much more, or maybe he doesn't have the right lieutenants, or what always happens is the danger and the appeal of playing God, where you're getting more and more, and then the inability to delegate it to qualified people and not, worrying so much of what they do or overseeing it, letting your chefs cook. Get them in the kitchen, let them cook. If it comes out great, cool, awesome, keep cooking. If it doesn't, then maybe get involved and kind of try to figure out your best course of action. So that's my last 4 cents.
I like it.
Thank you.
And that's the reason why only God has the capacity to be God. Yes, indeed. All right, yes. Absolutely. It's a good sale there, EC3. Very well done.